I think, and there's a lot of people out there that just try to do the paperwork themselves, right? I see a lot of people on the list, what do they call pro per?
Yeah, pro per actually. And you bring up a great implied point there that through probate, it takes away a lot of planning opportunities for families. We can't do things like LLC planning or save property tax or do a lot of neat strategies when we're stuck in probate. When I'm in court, I often am sitting there, last couple of years on Zoom, but I'm often sitting there and seeing people trying to do it themselves. You absolutely can. I have seen people successfully go through the court system themselves. And in fact, Orange County has a great self-help service for probate department. But what I also see is that a person doing it themselves, which is called pro per, does take a lot longer than necessary. I couldn't tell you how long they take because I'm obviously not their lawyer, but I do see a lot of continuances. They're in front of a judge and the judge says, something's wrong, I'll see you in a few months. And sometimes it's the wisest decision is just to hire the lawyer and let the lawyer take care of the probate.
I think that is a wise decision.
Yeah.
I've learned as I've gotten older that you want to hire the professionals that specifically do what they do.
Right.
Yeah, especially with this market, it's still a seller's market in my opinion. But with rates adjusting, you just don't know where you're going to be at in 2 years, and it could be a huge issue, and it costs you a lot of money. So it's almost like you're better off spending a little bit now instead of losing a lot later.
Right.
So I think that you hire the people that know what they're doing, and just things cost money. It is what it is. You can get anything cheap usually, but cheap usually isn't good, right? And it's not to say that it's extremely expensive, but it could be more expensive doing it yourself and having all these other things that no one really can see, and understanding that, whether it's dealing with the property, trying to sell it yourself as a pro per, and not really understanding how to work with investors, what to look out for, because their strategies are always to tie you up in escrow and renegotiate. That's their basic one. That's the typical one. Wear you down, extend everything out, and just cause you a lot of stress. And typically I work with probably 20 plus estates a year selling probate and trust properties, and you run into it a lot where I try to take on that stress, because you don't want the client to have that stress, because then they start making the decisions just to make them, and they could lose money for all the beneficiaries, whether it's 5, 10, 15,000, it all adds up.
Right.
And that's something that I run into quite often.